Good afternoon, everyone. We are the Limit Breakers, and we are assigned to report the Chapter 6, which is all about ensuring teacher quality through competency framework and standards. This chapter focuses on how to become a quality teachers and how to acquire teacher qualities. This topic has 4 subtopics. These are the quality teachers and teacher quality defined, the competency framework for teacher in Southeast Asia, CFT SAA. The third one is the Philippine Qualifications Framework or the PQF. Then the last one is the Philippines Professional Standards for Teachers or PPST. And as a member of as a limit breaker or as a member of the limit breakers, I was assigned to report the first one, the quality teachers and the teacher quality defined. But before going deeper, let me first present to you our learning outcomes so that we will be guided throughout the lesson. After discussing or reporting the chapter 6, we are expected to be able to, the first one is to distinguish between teacher quality and quality teachers. Second one is to relate the competency framework for teachers in Southeast Asia, CFT SAA, to teacher quality. And the last one is to discuss the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, PPST, Career Stage 1 Beginning Teachers Competency and how it can assure quality in the Philippines. Are qualified teachers really quality teachers? Teacher quality matters. According to Rice, most educators and policymakers agree that one of the most important school-related factors influencing student achievement and outcomes is teacher quality. Even me, I also agree with what was Rice with the idea of Rice that one of the most school-related factors influencing student achievement and outcomes is the teacher quality, since it is the teacher who teaches and molds students in school. So that's it. And teacher really affect the achievements of the students, of his or her students. It has been found out to be the best predictor of students' outcomes. Rivkin, Hanushik, and Kain 1998 and Rice 2003. Okay, for them, teacher quality is the best predictor of students' outcomes. One of the biggest challenges of ensuring teacher quality is the attractiveness of teaching profession. The teaching profession is not as attractive like the other professions. That is why it does not always get the best material. This is a cause of concern in many countries around the world, as exemplified in the Global Teacher Status in 2013. And now let us jump into the first subtopic, which is the quality teachers and teacher quality defined. Quality teachers are characterized by the different skills needed in the 21st century education. Partnership 21 identified themes that are relevant to the changing times. Those 4 themes are, the first one is global awareness, second one financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurial literacy, the third one is the civic literacy, and the last one is health literacy. Global awareness or being globally aware, it means building a value system that is flexible and open to other people's culture. It recognizes and respects that there can be more than one way to make something or to do something. It recognizes, it actively supports and promotes diversity. Okay, that is global awareness. And the second one is financial literacy, economic literacy, business literacy, and entrepreneurial literacy. Financial literacy means having the ability to utilize all our various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing. Economic literacy means it is the ability to read and write about the economic conditions that affect our material well-being. It is also the ability to understand, discuss, and respond to the event that shape our economic environment. The next one is the business. Business literacy means having the knowledge and understanding of the financial, accounting, marketing, and operational functions of an organization. And the last one is the entrepreneurial literacy. Entrepreneurial literacy means having the attitudes, skills, and knowledge to be capable to detect an opportunity and to make it grow in a sustainable way. Okay. Most of them will talks about money or income or just like that. Okay, man. And the third one is the civic literacy. Civic literacy is having the knowledge and skills to participate effectively in civic life through knowing how to stay informed, understanding government processes, and knowing how to exercise the rights and obligations of citizenship at local, state, national, and global levels. Okay, those are the 4 themes that was identified by Partnership 21 that are relevant to the changing times. With those 4 themes in mind, the 21st century skills framework are clustered into 3. The first one is learning and innovation skills framework, which include critical thinking and problem solving. If you have still remember, critical thinking and problem solving are the twin goals of mathematics. Creativity and innovation, and communication and collaboration. Creativity and innovation means creating something out from nothing. Or innovation means creating something out from something, or just making a difference from what was already existed. Communication and collaboration means interacting with others. Collaboration means working with other people to achieve a common goal. And technology skills. Okay. The second one is information, media, and technology skills framework, which includes information literacy, media literacy, ICT or information communication, and technology literacy. Okay. Learners should possess the skills on how to deal with today's knowledge explosion on the internet and how to benefit from them. Okay, this is belong to information, media, and technology skills framework. Information literacy means the ability to decode or to understand the message or to transfer information from one person to another. And media literacy, ICT or information communication, and technology literacy. And the last cluster is the life and career skills framework. Today's life and work environment require far more than thinking skills and content knowledge. The ability to navigate the complex life and work environment in the globally competitive information age requires students to pay rigorous attention to developing adequate life and career skills. Okay, it facilitates the learners on how to adapt and utilize the necessary skills in order to survive. Okay, that is for the last cluster. Okay, quality teachers are competent teachers with global competence are able to demonstrate knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions as described below. The first one is to understand one's own cultural identity and its influence on personal dispositions and classroom practices. The second one is to know and integrate global dimension in the subject one teaches. Engage student in learning. Use real life, local, and global examples. Value the inputs of culturally and linguistically diverse learners. The sixth one, create environment that encourage positive cross-cultural interactions. Model social responsibility in local and global contexts. And the last one is to help learners find appropriate actions to improve local and global conditions. Okay, let's proceed to teacher quality. Teacher quality is defined by the standards set for the profession and are validated by the students' learning outcomes. The OECD has proposed in the discussion table that the core elements of the teacher quality standard should include. The OECD proposed in the discussion table that the core elements of the teacher quality standard should include planning and preparation, classroom environment, instruction, and the last one is professional responsibilities. Under the planning and preparation, it includes knowledge of content and pedagogy, knowledge of students, coherent instructional plans, and knowledge on how to assist students' learning. And for the classroom environment, it includes creating a culture for learning and managing student behavior. For instruction, it includes communicating effectively, using appropriate discussion techniques, engaging students, and providing responsive feedback to learners. And the last one is the professional responsibilities. It includes reflecting on teaching, communicating with families, contributing to the school and community, and developing professionally. Those are from the teacher quality on 2013. There are differences in context on how teacher quality is defined. Hence, there is no universal standard for teacher quality. The teaching profession needs to have standards in a way that other professions have to advance its status. In other countries, teacher standards for teacher quality are set at the national or state levels, but with consideration for local flexibility in the implementation. In summary, quality teachers are defined by their attributes and characteristics, while teacher quality is defined by the standards set for the profession and are validated by the students' learning outcomes. Okay, it means that everyone will go through the teacher quality, but only few realizes and can reach on becoming a quality teacher. Okay, it is obviously that everyone go through the teacher quality since if we are a teacher, then we should meet the standard set for that profession. Then, but not all of us, or only some of us will reach or can reach the quality teachers or possess of being a quality teachers. And that's the end of my report. Thank you. Let us wait for the next reporter, my groupmates, to discuss the remaining 3 topics.
Good day, everyone. I sincerely apologize to my listeners, especially to our teacher. Ma'am, sorry, because I have a fever right now. Sorry for my voice and the way I am explaining my report. By the way, I am Arlan Idolzura. My topic is belong to ensure teacher quality through competency, framework, and standard in chapter 6. Let us tackle now the competencies framework for teacher in Southeast Asia, or CFTSEA. This competency was developed in 2017, and we have the 3 organizations to initiate the competencies framework for teachers in Southeast Asia. in collaboration with Thailand's Teachers Education Council and CIMEO Secretariat or CIMIS. When we say CIMEO, Southeast Asia Ministry of Educational Organization. And CIMIS is Southeast Asia Ministry Education Secretariat. And the last one is the CIMEO Regional Center for Educational Innovation and Technology or ENOTIC. Next, we have the teachers' competencies make up quality teachers. Competencies as defined in a framework are combinations of skills, knowledge, behavior, and attributes that enable effective or superior job performance. For me, without these combinations, our competencies is nonsense or not useful in our curriculum when we are applying these competencies. If you have not skills, knowledge, behavior, and attributes that enable effective or superior job performance. We have now the 4 essential competencies. I am only assigned to discuss the first 2 essential competencies, and the last 2 parts is discussing by Chicky Castro, my co-reporters. Let us first tackle the knowing and understand what to teach. It is the ability of teachers to deepen and broaden their knowledge on what to teach, understand education trends, policies, and curricula, and be updated on local, national, regional, and global development. The second one is helping students to learn. It is the ability to know students, use the most effective teaching and learning strategies, assist and give feedback on how students learn. We have now the general competencies and enabling competencies. As I understand, the general competencies is a possible activity that we need to apply in our classrooms as a future teachers. And the enabling competencies is the clarifications of the situations that we have as a future teachers and the explanations of what we are doing to do if you have now or if you have experience of these general competencies. First is the know and understand what I teach. We have a general competencies. There is a 3 general competencies. First is deepen and broaden my knowledge on what I teach. There are enabling competencies. Master my subject content. Use research-based knowledge. As a future teachers, we need to master our subjects, especially to the content, and we need to research sometimes if we have not understand already to your topic or to your subjects before you entering the classroom. The second is understand education trends, policies, and curricula. Their enabling competencies. Update myself on educational trends. Study educational policies on how they affect teaching. As a future teachers, we need to update ourselves about the educational trends, and we need to study all the policies of the school on how they affect if we are teaching, and how to avoid the struggle or something error to our class or when we are teaching to our learners. The third one is keep myself update on local, national, regional, and global development. And their enabling competencies is check new changes in education environment. Nowadays, we experience the new changes in our environment about education. As a future teachers, we need to update ourselves from the level of local, national, regional, up to the global development about the education environment. So, next. The second one is help my student learn. Their general competencies, they have 3 general competencies. And first, know my students. Their enabling competencies, identify my students' need and trends to help them learn better, understand how my students learn, value what makes my student unique. So every now and then, we experience some uniqueness of attitudes in our students because we came from different families and we have different attitude, behavior, because some students have unique ideas and we need to consider if they have able to useful in their to all learners in our classrooms. So the second one is use the most effective teaching and learning strategies. Select their enabling competencies, select appropriate teaching and learning strategy. Design clear and effective lessons my students can understand. Create a positive and caring learning space. As a future teachers, we need to clear our lesson plan, the design of our lesson plan. As we present, the learners is very satisfied our lesson plan. As of now, some teachers use a PowerPoint, so we need to arrange our PowerPoint and it is already understand, or it is already very arranged content in our PowerPoint to understand all our learners out, kanang mas makasabot ang ato ang tanang mga learners kana. Assess and give feedback on how my students learn. Design the enabling competencies, design, assignment process, and tools. The second one is monitor my students' progress and provide appropriate support. The third is use result from assessment to improve instructions. So as a teachers, we need to verify the performance of our students. We need to give, or we need to conduct an assessment. We need to give an assignment, or we need to provide the appropriate support to all our learners or to all our students for the motivations of the students to continue their schooling. So that's all my report for this day, and thank you and God bless everyone. The second last part is reporting out is continuing by Chicky Castro with my in my co-reporters. Thank you and God bless everyone. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, I'm Chikio Castro at your service. And now I'm going to report about the Philippine Qualification Framework or PQF and the continuation of Mr. Eldazora report. So let's start. This topic is part of the 4 essential competencies. One of these is engage the community, which is the ability to partner with parents and caregivers, involve the community to help students learn, and encourage respect and diversity. In partner with parents and in caregivers, the enabling competency of these, which are build a support network, create welcoming space, and sustain the partnership. It means that working in partnership with parents and caregivers is central to the early years foundation stage. Consulting them about children's early experiences helps practitioners plan for effective learning and the setting, and helps them support parents in continuing their children's learning development at home. Next is involve the community to help my students learn. The enabling competency of these are engage parents and caregivers about their children, and design learning activities using community conditions, local wisdom, tradition, and knowledge. It means that sharing a responsibility to help their children learn and meet educational goals. Parents' engagement happens when teachers involve parents in school meetings or events, and parents volunteer their support at home and school. The last general competency under of engage the community, which is encourage, respect, and diversity. The enabling of these are accept what makes people different and practice inclusion and respect in classroom. It means that we need to accept every learners we encountered because all of us became from different families and we have own uniqueness. The last essential competency is become a better teacher every day, which is the ability to know oneself and others, practice human goodness, and then masters the teaching practice. In know myself and others, the enabling competency of these are continue to grow by knowing oneself more, and become more aware and responsible for my emotions and health, and nurture my relationship with care and respect. It means that understanding your strengths and weaknesses, your passions and fears, your desires and dreams, knowing yourself means knowing your purpose in life. And next is practice human goodness in life and in my work. The enabling competency of this is be kind and compassionate, and inspire my students and colleagues by setting by my best example, and nurture my students' confidence on what they can do and become. It means that as a students, we should be a good example to others to inspire them. The last general competency under of become a better teacher every day is master my teaching practice. The enabling competencies of this, which are keep alive my passion for teaching, take responsibility in my own personal and professional growth, and inspire other teachers by setting my best example, which means that collaborate to develop and to determine the adoption of learning resources and research-based strategies to increase students' performance. And those are the 4 essential competencies for teaching in Southeast Asia. And next slide is the framework agreed upon by the Minister of Education of the Southeast Asian countries, including the Philippines. It will be used as a guide to determine teacher quality across the region. The figure below captures all the elements of the competency framework for teachers in Southeast Asia. So this is the figure of the 4 competency framework for teachers in the Southeast Asia. So during the next slide. So the next topic is all about the Philippine Qualification Framework, or PQF. So what is the Philippine Qualification Framework, or PQF? So let's tackle about this. Okay, the Philippine Qualification Framework, which shall describe the levels of educational qualification and set the standards for qualification outcomes. It is a quality-assured national system for the development, recognition, and award of qualification based on standards of knowledge, skills, and values acquired in different ways, and methods by learners and workers of the country. When we say a qualification, it refers to a formal certification that a person has successfully achieved specific learning outcomes relevant to the identified academic or industry or community requirements. Okay, next slide. As part of the ASEAN convergence and in the light of globalization, each country in the ASEAN, the Philippines adopts national standard and levels for outcomes in education, and then this is called Philippine Qualification Framework, or PQF, which is provided by the Law of Republic Act 10968 years 2018. Based on the level of education as PQF Level 6, the PQF described the career path for baccalaureate degree program including teacher education degree. All graduates from the baccalaureate degree are expected to exhibit outcomes as described in Table 4. Table 4 presents the levels of outcomes and descriptors. The left part is the PQF 6 level of outcomes and the right part is the PQF descriptors of outcomes. So, in knowledge, skills, and values, the descriptor of outcomes is graduates possess a broad level of coherent knowledge and skills in their field of study for professional work or teaching and lifelong learning. And in application of knowledge, skills, and values, the descriptor of outcomes is the application of professional work or teaching in a broad of discipline and or for further study. And the last part is degree of independence. The descriptor of outcomes is the independent or as a teacher and or in teams of related fields. So this is the level 6 of outcomes and descriptors. Okay, next slide. What are the purpose of the Philippine Qualification Framework? Okay. First is to adapt national standards and levels of learning outcomes of education. Then, to support the development of pathways and equivalences that enable access to qualifications and to assist individuals to move easily and readily between the different education and training sectors and between these sectors and the labor market, and to align domestic qualification standards with the international qualification framework, thereby enhancing recognition of the value and comparability of Philippine qualifications and supporting the mobility of Filipino students and workers. Also, the PQF will be used as the basis for accrediting certificates and licenses recognized by the government. And that's all for today. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.
Good day, everyone. I am Junica Rabinadahan. I will be discussing the Philippines Professional Standards for Teachers. Now we will be talked about Philippine Teacher Education. Philippine Teacher Education was defined by Teacher Education and Development Map in 2006 as a lifelong journey. Teacher education is long-lasting, or it is continuing through life, starting from the entry to basic education in the Department of Education, where all of us had already undergone, to entry to teacher education institutions of the Commission in Higher Education, where we are now in the process as we, the education students of GHCSC. After we graduate and with God grace, we may pass the LET exam. We have now licensing as professional teachers of the PRC. After having our license, we are in the employment to Department of Education with attestation of the civil service or private basic education. Since the teacher has now the license to teach, the teacher can now be employed in Department of Education. Next, in both public or private education, a newly recruited teacher undergoes a teacher induction program, or what we call TIP. When we say TIP, it is a systematic and comprehensive training for newly hired teachers as part of professional development towards effective teaching in commitment to the profession. It is led by Teacher Education Council, and as for the private institutions, It is assisted by the Private Education Assistance Council. While in service, as for professional teachers, since learning is a never-ending process, professional teacher continues professional development through trainings by the duly authorized service providers of the PRC. Teachers cannot join the training that are not authorized by the PRC, or they shall continue professional development through advancement in education, like master's or doctorate, or other activities on their own. The continuing professional development continues until the person retires from employment or continues to practice the profession in another capacity. That is, Philippine teacher education is lifelong journey. In the middle of this professional lifelong cycle is the professional teacher standard. These are statements of a teacher, profession attributes, knowledge, understanding, and skills. Before, professional teacher standard was also known as National Competency-Based Teacher Standards, and it changed in 2017 until now, known as Philippines Professional Standards for Teachers. These two are both framework for teacher quality. PPST define teacher quality in a broader perspective, attuned to the current demands and changes in the educational local and global landscape, to include the reforms of K-12, the outcomes-based education of higher education, the ASEAN integration, the UNESCO's Sustainable Development Goals 2030, and Ambition Natin 2040. Being responsible for the pre-service development of teachers, teacher education institutions have a responsibility of graduating students with PQF 6 qualifications and to master the PPST beginning teacher standards as well as the program outcomes of the Commission on Higher Education's policies, standard, and guidelines for teacher education. The mastery of beginning teacher competencies is an expectation of the teaching industry in basic education. The PPST contains 7 domains, as you can see in this screen. And in this lesson, we focus on beginning teachers' competencies for career stage level 1. And for further discussion about these 7 domains, it will be discussed by next team reporter. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Hello everyone, I am Jean Serna and today I will discuss the domains and strands for the beginning teachers. We have 7 domains but I will only discuss the first 4 domains and the rest will be discussed by my co-reporter. So the first domain is the content knowledge and pedagogy. And when we say content knowledge, this refers to the body of knowledge and information that teachers teach and students are expected to learn in each subject or content areas. And when we say pedagogy, this refers to the method and practice or approach of teaching. So the first strand is content knowledge and its application within and across curriculum areas. And its competency indicator is demonstrate content knowledge and its application within or across curriculum areas. So as a beginning teacher, we must have the knowledge about the curriculum areas that we're going to teach in order for us to know or identify what teaching approach or strategies that we're going to use in order to meet the needs of our learners. And the second is research-based knowledge and principles of teaching and learning. Demonstrate an understanding of research-based knowledge and principles of teaching. So, as a beginning teacher, we must not contented with one source or reference. We must be resourceful and do some research in order to apply in the teaching learning process. Then, the third strand is positive use of ICT. Show skills in the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process. So, as a beginning teacher, we must have these skills because of the demands of the society, especially to our learners. Because this could enhance the teaching learning process, especially nowadays that we are in the online teaching and learning. So, and the fourth strand is strategies for promoting literacy and numeracy. Demonstrate knowledge of teaching strategies that promote literacy and numeracy skills. Then number 5, strategies of developing critical and creative thinking as well as other higher order thinking skills. Apply teaching strategies that develop critical and creative and or other higher order thinking skills. So, example of these strategies of developing critical and creative thinking skills is visualizing or questioning. Then, number 6 is Mother Tongue, Filipino, and English in teaching and learning. Use of Mother Tongue, Filipino, and English to facilitate teaching and learning. So, the use of Mother Tongue also facilitates learning like nowadays from kindergarten to grade 2. Mother tongue is being used. So, number 7 is communication strategies. Demonstrate an understanding of the range of verbal and non-verbal classroom communication strategies that support learner understanding, participation, and engagement and achievement. So, some classroom communication strategies are encourage teamwork, create a safe environment, and be sure to give positive feedback. The second domain is the learning environment. So, in the learning environment, our concerns here is the interest of our learners. So, as a beginning teacher, we must provide the environment that could make them comfortable. So, in the first strand is learner safety and security. And its competency indicator is demonstrate knowledge of policies, guidelines, and procedures that provide safe and secure learning environment. So as a beginning teacher, our first concern at school is the learner safety and security. So we must demonstrate knowledge of policies, guidelines, and procedures that provide safe and secure learning environment. Then the second one is fair learning environment. Demonstrate understanding of learning environment that promote fairness, respect, and care to encourage learning. So, sample of fair learning environment is to promote gender equality and be consistent and not be unfair, especially in giving grades or merits. So, in the third one is management of classroom structure and activities. Demonstrate understanding of managing classroom structures that engage learners individually or in groups in meaningful exploration, discovery, and hands-on activities within an available physical learning environment. So, provides activities that could motivate learners to participate. The fourth strand is support for learners' participation. Demonstrate understanding of supportive learning environments that nurture and inspire learner participation. So make every student feel that they are valued, included, and empowered in every learning activity. And number 5, promotion of purposive learning. Its competency indicator demonstrate knowledge of learning environment that motivates learners to work productivity by assuming responsibility for their own learning. So this is the goal of a teacher, to promote purposive learning and produce productive learners. So as a beginning teacher, we must promote purposive learning. And number 6 is management of learner behavior. Demonstrate knowledge of positive and non-violent discipline in the management of learner behavior. So as a beginning teacher, we must know how to manage and discipline our learner in a non-violent way. And then the next domain, the third domain, is diversity of learners. So we all know that our learners comes from different families, environments. So we expect that our learners also have diverse attitude. So in the first strand, learners, gender, needs, strength, interest, and experiences. So as its competency indicator is demonstrate knowledge and understanding of differential teaching to suit the learner's gender needs, strength, interest, and experiences. So as a beginning teacher, we must know and understand that our students have different learning styles. So we must find ideas and strategies to suit their learning styles and needs. There are those students who are visual learners, kinesthetic, and auditory learners. So we are going to find strategies that suit their needs, learning needs. So number 2 is learners' linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious background. So in the competency indicator, implement teaching strategies that are responsive to the learner's linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious background. So one way of knowing what teaching strategies we are going to use in order to meet the learner's linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious backgrounds is know your students by doing interview or learn about something in your students. And number 3 is learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talents. So use strategies responsive to learners with disabilities, giftedness, and talent. So as a beginning teacher, we must know different strategies that would cater the learners with disabilities, because we all know there are those students who are fast learners, and there are some also who are slow learners, or some are what we call farsightedness, and some are nearsightedness. So we must know our students. And the next round is learners in difficult circumstances. Demonstrate understanding of the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances, including geographic isolation, chronic illness, displacement due to armed conflict, urban resettlement or disasters, child abuse, and child labor practices. And number 5, learners from indigenous group. Demonstrate knowledge of teaching strategies that are inclusive of learners from indigenous groups. So acknowledge the needs of the learners to find a place or belongingness within the class, and provide students opportunities to participate in spite of their culture. So respect the culture of each student. And the fourth domain is the curriculum planning. So in the curriculum planning, it is important because we need to know that we are in the right track. So the first strand is planning and management of teaching and learning process, and its competency indicator is prepare developmentally sequenced teaching and learning process to meet curriculum requirements. So planning is the foundation of all management. As a beginning teacher, we must prepare developmentally sequenced teaching and learning process to meet what the curriculum requires. And number 2, learning outcomes aligned with learning competencies. So identify learning outcomes that are aligned with learning competencies. For example, our learning competency is demonstrate good presentation skills. So our learning outcomes, the students also could make a presentation to their peers. And the next strand is professional collaboration to enrich teaching practice. Then its competency indicator is seek advice concerning strategies that can enrich teaching practice. So we must seek advice concerning strategies that can enrich teaching practice in other way. It could hone our personal and professional competency as a teacher. So, and number 5, teaching and learning resources including ICT show skills in the selection, development, and use of variety of teaching and learning outcomes, including ICT to address learning goals. So we must have the skills, including ICT skills, especially nowadays that we are in the online teaching and learning process. So we must have these skills in order to address the learning goals. And that would be all. Thank you and God bless.
Good day everyone, I am Lina Bungodunyo and this is the continuations of Domain and Strands for Beginning Teachers. So Domain 5, Assessment and Reporting. From the word assessment, it refers to all the ways we gather information about progress in students' learning. And reporting, it is the process used to communicate knowledge gained from assessing students' learning. Assessment and reporting combine to support students to achieve high standards and to provide the basis for guiding further learning as well as informing parents about their child achievement. The Domain 5 composed of 5 strands. The first strand is design, selections, organizations, and utilizations of assessment strategies. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate knowledge of the design, selections, organization, and use of diagnostic, formative, and summative assessment strategies with curriculum requirements. And the second strand is monitoring and evaluation of learner progress and achievement. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate knowledge of monitoring and evaluation of learner progress and achievement using learner attainment data. And the third strand is feedback to improve learning. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate knowledge of providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to improve learner performance. The fourth strand is to communication of learner needs, progress, and achievement to key stakeholders. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate familiarity with a range of strategies for communicating learner needs, progress, and achievement. The fifth strand is used of assessment data to enhance teaching and learning practices and programs. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate an understanding of the role of assessment data as feedback in teaching and learning practices and programs. The Domain 5, it relates to process associated with a variety of assessment tools and strategies used by teachers in monitoring, evaluating, documenting, and reporting learner needs, progress, and achievement. This domain concerns the use of assessment data in a variety of ways to inform and enhance the teaching and learning process programs. It concerns teachers providing learners with the necessary feedback about learning outcomes. This feedback informs the reporting cycle and enables teachers to select, organize, and use sound assessment processes. Domain 6 community linkages and professional engagement. From the word community linkages, it focuses on teachers' efforts directed at strengthening the links between school and community activities, particularly as these links help in the attainment of the curricular objectives. And professional engagement, it refers to the engagement with parents, colleagues, and other education circles. Domain 6 consists of 4 strands. The first strand is establishment of learning environment that are responsive to community context. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate an understanding of knowledge of learning environment that are responsive to community context. The second strand is the engagement of parents and the wider school community in the educative process. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to seek advice concerning strategies that build relationship with parents or guardians and the wider community. And the third strand is professional ethics. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate awareness of existing laws and regulations that apply to the teaching profession and become familiar with responsibilities specified in the Code of Ethics for professional teachers. The fourth strand is school policies and procedures. Its competency indicators for beginning teacher is to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of school policies and procedures to foster harmonious relationship with the wider school community. This domain affirms the role of teachers in establishing school-community partnerships aimed at enriching the environment as well as the community engagement in the educative process. This domain expects teachers to identify and respond to opportunities that link teaching and learning in the classroom to the experiences, interests, and aspirations of the wider school community and other key stakeholders. It concerns the importance of teachers understanding and fulfilling their obligations in upholding professional ethics, accountability, and transparency to promote professional and harmonious relationship with learners, parents, school, and the wider community. The Domain 7, Personal Growth and Professional Development. From the word personal growth, it is a process of both understanding yourself and pushing yourself to reach your highest potential, and professional development is defined as activities that develop an individual's skills, knowledge, expertise, and other characteristics as a teacher. Domain 7 contains of 5 strands. The first strand is philosophy of teaching. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to articulate a personal philosophy of teaching that is learner-centered. The second strand is dignity of teaching as a profession. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate behaviors that uphold the dignity of teaching profession by exhibiting qualities such as caring, attitude, respect, and integrity. The third strand is professional links with colleagues. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to seek opportunities to establish professional links with colleagues. And the fourth strand is profession, reflections, and learning to improve practice. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate understanding of how professional reflections and learning can be used to improve practice. And the fifth strand is professional development goals. Its competency indicators for beginning teachers is to demonstrate motivations to realize professional development goals based on the Philippine professional standards for teachers. So, the Domain 7, it focuses on teachers' personal growth and professional development. It accentuates teachers' purpose and high personal regard for the profession by maintaining qualities that uphold the dignity of teaching, such as caring, attitude, respect, and integrity. This domain values personal and professional reflections and learning to improve practice. It recognizes the importance of teachers assuming responsibility for personal growth and professional development. In summary, Lesson 4 is all about quality teachers and teacher quality. It is a continuation of Lesson 2 and Lesson 3, which were about teachers and the teaching profession. The qualities of the 21st century teacher have been discussed in the previous lessons. However, to bridge this lesson, there was a need to differentiate between the quality teachers and the teacher quality. There can never be teacher quality without quality teachers, for quality teachers are defined by individual knowledge, skills, and values. On the other hand, teacher quality is defined by the teacher standards set for the teaching profession. For the Southeast Asian countries, the framework is driven by the 4 essential competencies and in 31 enabling competencies. The Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, or PPST, are also in support of the Philippine Qualifications Framework, or PQF, which determines the qualification of any baccalaureate degree holder. The Career Path Stage 1, Beginning Teacher, is the focus of this lesson because the pre-service teacher education graduate should master the competencies that are stated in the 32 strands of the 7 domains of the standards for Filipino teachers. There are items that are similar between the Southeast Asian framework and the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. If the competencies included in the standards are mastered by any future teacher, then quality teachers will be produced and teacher quality will be achieved. And that's would be all. Thank you. And God bless.